podcast.
First. Can you
2025.
believe? Sorry.
Hi.
I'm obsessed with the fact that we have a clapper.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think it's so cool?
Can we get that back in? Can you? Let's. Okay, sorry.
Let it have its moment. Oh.
As people who have like normally done a podcast in a studio, that's so fancy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know? I feel like we're in Hollywood.
We are.
That's Hollywood level.
We are in the ABC janitor closet up against a wall that has the most.
Might fall down at any moment.
Honestly.
It might collapse. We've got fake plants around us. But we will refer to this as our lounge room because it is.
Yeah.
And if you are wondering why I have a cow on my shoulder.
I personally was going to bring it up. Yes. I thought the people need to know.
Pip and I have been so excited for this moment. It has been a long time coming. I planned my outfit. Thank you for noticing the boots.
Yeehaw.
Got really excited to get all dolled up and ready to do our first podcast. And I woke up this morning and could not move my neck. Like I felt so old.
Yeah. I get a text from you and you're panicking. Lots of crying emojis being like, I can't move my neck. And I was like, oh, what? Pilates, gym? Not sleep.
A few people said gym and I was like, no, just sleep.
Just actually functioning like a normal human being.
I've never experienced this before.
Really?
I have never woken up from sleep and like broken my back. Like I can't move my neck. It is so
I find
sore.
that so weird because you famously sleep in a pillow fort. You've got teddies everywhere. I feel like you've got elevated surfaces. You've probably got books, little tablets and like mushroom supplements all across the bed. I don't know what else is going on, but I'm surprised that you haven't woken up with some fuck ass neck problem.
I love that we do a sex show and not one person said it was from sex. Wow, that says a lot. Anyway, this is a heat pack. So
it's a heat pack. All right.
It's healthy.
Well, keep it there and, you know.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having
Welcome to 2025. Welcome to our VOD if this is the first time you're seeing it. And what a topic to get into for this. I'm really, really excited about this.
Yeah, like Pip said, if you are new, we are The Hookup. We talk all things love, sex, dating, relationships. And this is a huge episode around dirty talk.
Dirty talk is something that a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people find awkward, but I think by the end of this, you're going to be like, I absolutely need to employ a couple of phrases, words, work on how you like bring more vocalization to the bedroom.
Yeah.
So if you don't know what dirty talk is.
Well, I think people think when they think of dirty talk, they think it's like porn style stuff. You know, it's just like, I'm going to do this and this and this to you and, you know, but dirty talk can be sexting.
Mm-hmm.
It can be moaning.
Yep.
It can just be like one word. It can be just anything that's vocal that you do to like bring sexual stimulation, whether that's like in the bedroom or like outside of it.
Yeah. And I think that's a really important part, taking it outside. I'm a big advocate of that. Anyway, we did a poll to figure out what you thought of it. If you're not already following us on our Instagram, @Triple the Hookup is where you can find us. We asked, dirty talk, are you into it? 54% of you said, love it. Huge.
Love it.
Good. I like to see this. 7% of you said, hate it.
Okay.
And 39% of you said, I feel neutral about it. I'm hoping to change these fence sitters by the end of this. I'm like, no, don't feel neutral about it. I think you can get into it.
I have to be honest. I think I'm a fence sitter.
Really?
Yeah.
You could take it or leave it.
I could take it or leave it, but also I think I just haven't experienced it in a good way.
Yes.
Which we're going to talk about because I think once you experience it badly, it kind of puts you off it. Yes. And I am also someone that finds it just so incredibly awkward and I give myself the ick and I think it's really hard to move past that.
I think that's completely understandable. As you may know, if you've listened to The Hookup before, I read a lot of like fantasy smut books. That has helped me on my journey to like getting more into it. But as you were saying before, I had a recent really good experience with it. So now I'm like, hell yeah. And I've had bad ones too, which we'll talk about. But yeah, it can really make or break a moment. If you do it wrong, it can make you just lose that whole like horniness, like inhibition, everything.
Instantly. Well, let's hear from you and find out who is loving it
Yes.
and who is hating it. So Alice, hello, you sent us this voice memo about it.
There is nothing hotter than a man telling me my pussy makes him hard, that my pussy feels good. I love the compliments. It makes me feel desired, not just during sex, but after sex. Aftercare is just as important. But the dirty talk, oh my God, it gets me going as well.
Okay, I feel like we're about to get shadow banned from YouTube. Because that was hot. Obviously, Alice is really into it, and so is Jake.
Wow.
I love dirty talk. I love reading it. I love writing it, from playful kind of flirty things to hot and bothery filthy things, whether it's text message or whether it's an Instagram DM. I don't know why, but it definitely gets me off.
I wonder if we should have done a poll if you prefer sexting and written dirty talk over verbal, because I feel like it is just the easiest way to get into it. And I feel like it's such a common thing where people, I don't know if you've ever like sexted or DM'd on Instagram and people are getting so into it. It's or like on a dating app and then you meet them in real life and they're mute.
Yes.
Don't you think that's such a thing? And you're like, okay, you talked the biggest fucking talk, but where were you?
Yes, no, totally.
Crickets.
100%. Like the Riz being like all of your like DMs and chats, and then you meet them and then there's like nothing. Caleb as well said that he, you know what, I'll let him explain it.
This is something that I thought I would never be into, but very recently I've met this girl that is incredibly good at it. And as soon as she starts talking dirty, especially like whispering it into my ear, my boner goes from like normal boner to super boner. I don't know what it is, but it's like a whole new kink unlocked. And until you find someone that's really good at it, you don't know what you're missing out on.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
I think that if you haven't experienced someone who is obviously really, really good at it, like that sounds hot, someone whispering in your ear, that takes confidence though.
Yeah. It's not an overnight thing. It's
Yeah.
definitely a practice thing. And yeah, you're completely right. It can change your whole perspective. But in the same way, if you fumble your words and if you are with someone who is just awkward and is not super great at it, then it can make you like completely turn off it. So we heard a lot of people in the DMs who had this experience, right? Zoe said she's not super into it.
Any sort of noises in sex needs to be organic, like a moan or something, sure. But if a guy is like, yeah, tell me how big I am, it's like, no. It just seems so fake to me, 100%. Texting I find easier, but then again, I'm just not into it. I could be doing my groceries and be like, yeah, tell me what you want to do to me next time we see each other. Like, it's just, I don't know, it doesn't turn me on at all.
Right.
Wow.
I think she expressed something that a lot of people DM'd us about, D, is like the kind of performative aspect
Yeah.
of it, where you're like, I can tell that's not your authentic, disgusting, filthy self.
Well, I think a lot of people draw inspo from porn, right? That's
Yeah.
a huge thing. I saw research that says like 45% of people use porn as inspiration for dirty talk.
Oh, yeah.
So
okay.
maybe that's like it's like about what people are saying. It's like they're not talking through what they're experiencing. They're not being like, right now I'm getting really turned on by you and like or like, you know, reminiscing on like a time that happened in the past. They're like just saying blanket statements that maybe sound a bit fake or just sound really forced.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I was talking to, was getting the ick or like feeling like embarrassed or awkward about it. And I think that plays a part in it. And this was something that Josie sent us a voice memo about.
My partner absolutely loves dirty talk, and every time he tries to get me to do it and I say something, I just give myself the ick and I cringe at myself, and like I never know what to say. I'm not really a talker. I like moaning and groaning, but anything other than that coming from my mouth, I absolutely hate.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of people in the DM saying they give themselves the ick. And also Lockie told us about his experience of this.
I'm all for hearing it towards me, but I cannot say it or do it at all. I feel like I'm fucking terrible at it. And there's only very certain things that I can sort of say without just grossing myself out. As soon as we're done and I really sit there and think about it, I feel the fucking greatest fucking shame ever. Like I'm not quiet when you know, in those sort of situations, but I don't really talk. Yeah, I've had some pretty awkward experiences with it.
Oh, Lockie. He's
I-
getting the post-nut clarity, but like, yeah, that shame feeling. That makes me sad.
I feel like that's so common though, right? It's that experience of when you're like, you're a dirty little fucking slut whore, whatever. And then after you're like, oh my God.
Like who was I?
that?
But I think like that level of shame and feeling like that is because he was putting on the mask and doing maybe like, as you said, the performance of the kind of pornographic vibe of dirty talk, not actually saying how he was really feeling and being vulnerable with it. It's kind of like, yeah, he was performing. And so then afterwards you're like, oh my God, how embarrassing. Like, why did I say that?
Why did I say that? Yeah. So yeah, if you are like Lockie and you are like me and you feel a bit of shame or you give yourself the ick, we are going to get into some tips on how to just, you know, start from scratch, how to bring a bit of dirty talk, a bit of like vocal stuff into your sex life.
And this is not even from us. This is like all your suggestions. Like you guys are building this show. Thank God for you because we need your help.
Seriously. But let's talk about some of the research that's out there when it comes to dirty talk. I found this stat so interesting. So this is from a study that was done by a brand. I'm not going to say because, you know, we are the ABC. But they looked into sex talk preferences of 990 participants in the United States and Europe, ages between 18 and 83, right? So I found this so interesting. 1 in 5 people admit that they have stopped sex cold because of dirty talk. So someone has said something mid-act and they've gone,
okay,
boner down, stop right now. I don't want to go. Like they've genuinely just been like so turned off by what someone has said.
I have had that experience, but I didn't stop it cold.
What happened?
Someone like called me. They were like, take it, you dirty little slut. And I was like, okay. And it's in the moment, I found like I felt like I couldn't stop it because you know what I mean? Like it's pretty hardcore to just be like, nah,
I'm not into that.
We're done. I don't know. I'm definitely a team player, but I was also like in my head, I was like, well, that wasn't what I like to be called.
Whoa.
So that was like a pretty intense like moment, and I've never even brought it up with them like afterwards. Like I should have had a conversation, and be like, by the way,
didn't love that.
Didn't love that.
It's such an awkward thing, and I
it
think
is
this is what we're
hard.
talking about the porno stuff. Like I think people just say blanket things they think are going to be hot or they get caught up in the moment. And it's like, you've had no conversation with this person to know if that's something that they're into.
Yeah.
And it's like a pretty aggressive thing to be called that if that isn't something that you get turned on by.
Well, there's obviously a huge difference as well between dirty talk and degradation, which we'll get into.
Yeah.
But yeah, completely, 100% agree with you.
I think that's a really big call. And I like that stat did surprise me.
Me too.
But I'm like, that makes sense. People are just saying the wrong things. But 90% of the participants in the study felt that they were aroused by the right erotic talk with their partner. And so this is what we're saying, like dirty talk can really stimulate, whether it's like sexting or outside of the bedroom or during the act. Like it reaches a part of your brain. I don't know where it is in the brain, but the amygdala.
Amygdala, yep.
And the hypothalamus.
Should we put a diagram up?
Yeah. Somewhere there.
That's what we can do because we're a vodcast, by the way. Ow.
Oh, yeah. If you're listening, not on the YouTube. But yeah, so research shows that there are parts of the brain that can get really turned on, get aroused and excited by sounds. So that whether that is like moaning, kiss, like really, kissing, breathy
stuff. Can you just repeat that stat again one more time? I just want to hear that again. 90%, did you say?
90%.
So what I'm hearing is high risk, high reward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's like, yes, it's risky in case you fuck it up and it's awkward and everyone says, no more sex, done. Turn the lights on, get out.
So 90% of the participants felt aroused by the right erotic talk with their partner. So it has to be the right thing.
I did a bit of research as well because I was thinking about my obsession with book talk.
Yes.
Fantasy books, smut, everything. And also with audio porn, right? So huge. Huge. Over COVID, it like absolutely went fucking gangbusters. And I was reading about this according to a psychologist, Elizabeth Perry, who is also a certified sex therapist. She reckons auditory cues can play a role in sexual arousal, including moaning, as you said, changes in breathing patterns, your partner's voice, sensual sounds, so like kissing, licking and sucking, and verbal communication, such as expressing desire and dirty talk. So basically these apps have like helped a lot of like women, non-binary, and probably men as well, like get into this like new kind of found
Definitely
erotica.
femme skewed, hey.
Definitely.
It seems to be like we like to hear the story, we like to hear the sex play out.
Yeah.
And we get really turned on by that.
Yeah. So then when you're hearing it like IRL, you know, in the bedroom or sexting, you're like, hell yeah, this is like a little audio book for me. Customized, bespoke for me, which is pretty cool.
But then there's going to be such a difference between the voice actor that's going like, my gorgeous princess, blah, 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 like stepping onto her, what am I doing?
Stepping onto
her unicorn. Am I okay? I don't know, babe. I don't know what's in your book talks.
But you know what's crazy? They actually hire like really good actors.
That's what I mean. There's
like
such
James McAvoy.
Really?
Like I've seen one with him, and also the guy from Bridgerton. Don't know what season.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god,
The hot one.
yeah.
I mean, they're all hot.
They're
but
all
the,
hot.
The OG
Everyone at
hot one.
Bridgerton is hot. But
But
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. There's such a difference between someone who's doing that and someone just being like, "Oh, you dirty little." Do you know what I mean?
yes, I'm with you.
That's where people are getting it wrong.
We actually had a really cool voice memo from Haley, who reckons that the apps, if you are kind of awkward and you don't know how you feel about this, it could be a good little gateway or a moment for you to like just test the waters and see if you like dirty talk.
I just find it a really like stress-free, low risk way to test the waters and see what kind of dirty talk you might be into, because while your brain might think that it's cringe and think, oh, like that's a bit weird, like I don't know why, but sometimes your body surprises you and it actually turns you on.
That's really, really great advice, Haley.
Right.
How can you even have a conversation about what you're into if you're like trying to chat to your partner about like, hey, let's bring dirty talk into the bedroom. How are you supposed to know what you're into if you haven't like experimented maybe on your own or listened to things and maybe watched porn or listened to porn and figured out what turns you on?
Yeah, 100%. So we had a bunch of you tell us some of the phrases and the things that turn you on. And I think we should make like a little social post of this, but we probably will get shadow banned again. But I think like looking at this list, Dee, I felt like I saw a little common theme, and I want to like throw this like idea your way and get your opinion.
What did you find?
So I think that we can narrow dirty talk down into 4 Ds. So it's describe, demand, desire, and degrade.
Oh,
So
I love that.
I think describe for me is like you are like a sexy narrator. You're describing the scene. You're like, I love it when you do that, or you look so hot when you're like, you know, down between my legs or something like that. Demand is obviously like, I want you to sit on my face. Like that's like, do this thing. Desire is like kind of like maybe a sexting thing of like, oh, I wish you were here, like, you know, doing this to me, blah, blah, blah. And then degrade is obviously like, you little cum slut, take it, you whore, or whatever you like to degrade people with.
we're going to get banned.
We're absolutely getting banned.
First episode in. No, I love that. That's great.
What do you reckon?
I would say that describe is probably the best way to start for someone who's never done this before or like me feels a bit of shame and ickiness from doing it or hearing it. Because I feel like that's really easy, right? It's like you're in the moment and you can just say, this feels really good. Obviously not in that tone because that's a bit.
This feels lovely.
That was really good. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
No,
that was great.
10 out of 10. I think desire is also a good way in as well, because it's like you can just sort of talk about the fantasy and be a little bit removed. I think desire for me like naturally comes as like a sexting thing.
I can't wait to see you tonight.
Yeah, exactly. So we got like a bunch of DMs. I reckon we should read some out. This person, you make me so wet.
That's a classic.
Classic.
Your pussy feels so good. A classic. This is what I mean. They're describing.
This one was a bit more specific. Had a girl say, I want you to fill me up with your load, and it rocked me in a good way. Hot.
I think that's hot.
We need more from like men or people with penises, like to just tell us what they like, because I know exactly what I like to hear, but I'm curious to have more like
what turns them on.
Exactly.
Fuck me like you own me.
Ooh.
Oof.
See, that's a demand, right?
Yeah.
I can't wait to bend you over.
Yeah.
That's kind of a describing moment. Tell me what your body needs.
Yeah, I
Love
like that. Like that one. Because that's consent right there. Which is, I think, a
We
really
need to talk
important.
about that.
We need to talk about consent, obviously.
Mm.
If you are not talking during sex, you are not really having consensual sex. Like there is a lot that you can tell through like nonverbal like actions about whether someone's like enjoying themselves and having a good time.
Mm.
But there is a difference between like going from kissing to straight away like penetration if you haven't asked, is that okay? Like there
okay.
should be, if you are having mute sex, I don't know if that's consensual, doll.
Really?
Well, you should be like at least moaning and telling if someone's into it because it's like consent is an ongoing thing. It is happening throughout sex. So like if you are wanting to move around or change positions or go down on someone or change that or touch them there, like you need to be having a conversation about that. Like that's consent. So you should be talking during sex, whether that's like, is this okay? Does that feel good? Am I allowed to put my hand here? Or like, how do you feel about this? Or do you want me to do that?
Yeah. I feel like it would be quite jarring, if somebody just like immediately was like straight to like penetration from
Well,
like,
it needs to be
making
at
out
least like there needs to be sounds. It needs to be like
Yeah.
obvious that someone's really enjoying this, whether that's moaning or like saying like, oh my God, or like,
yeah, like I love that.
love that, like fuck, that's great,
Yeah,
or fuck
yeah.
me. And like it's a bit of a worry if you are having completely mute sex, I would say.
I would say so. Yeah. I think we've all had it at one point in our life and it's not as fun as well. Like this is what we're trying to get around with. It's like, it's much more fun and like makes your amygdala
Maybe that's what I've broken my amygdala.
You're
in
my
neck.
amoeba in my brain telling me,
Amygdala.
yes, talk to me, talk dirty to me. Anyway, we've got a bunch of these. Let's not read all of them because there's heaps, but maybe
There's
we'll
some
put
really
a post
good
up.
ones you can get inspo from. We'll put it on our Instagram.
Yeah. But yeah, we had a couple of voice memos to do with this as well. Casey sent us this.
So I've recently had the most amazing experience with a much younger French lover who is just so passionate and adoring, and the French language gets me every time anyway. So when we're going for it, he will whisper dirty little French words in my ears. It is so hot. I don't even know what he's saying, but it's just the most sexy thing ever.
I die.
I've got fanny flutters.
Wow. Pussy clenched.
Sorry. Anything in French.
So hot.
And doesn't it take the awkward ick out of it because you don't know what they're saying? But French is the sexiest language ever. Oh, I love that.
Oh my God, I wish I had that experience. That's so cool. Tammy as well sent us a voice memo.
Personally quite like dirty talk. I think especially enjoy hearing somebody moan fuck and then your name, just again really validating that you're doing the right thing, they're enjoying it. It can be very hot. A friend of mine sent a video of themselves in the shower moaning my name and it is like the hottest thing I've ever had. So I've definitely saved that.
I already know what you're about to say.
I'm going to make a case and say that my name is not moanable. I have never had anyone moan my name and I also have never moaned anyone else's names. But that's beside the point. Moan my name. Awful. Sounds like you're dying. Put some passion in it.
I am dying. Oh, yeah, Pip. Peppy. Pip.
Well, maybe when you said, oh, yeah, it kind
Pip.
of like strings it along. But if you're literally
I
like,
think you're
Pip.
lying. I think Pip is moanable.
That
I
is
think
not moanable.
I think any name is moanable.
Comment below if you think it's moanable.
I think any name is moanable. It's just the way you say it.
Nah, it's got to have 2 syllables. Sorry.
No.
Even, wait, hold on. Let me try you. D.
See? That was
Actually, that was kind of good.
that's 1 syllable.
That's because I was giving my all. I don't think like you gave me justice.
Name, I'm sorry, any name is moanable if you do it in the right way. That's the
Is
hill.
that your-
That's the hill I'll die on.
Okay.
I genuinely feel that way. And I think the name is so hot. I think saying the name is so hot because it's almost like the person's like so overcome by you that they just are like lost in the moment and they say your name.
So someone has said your name
Yeah.
and it like changed your life?
Instantly.
And you've said other people's names as well?
Yeah, but I'm
You're
not
kind
much
of,
of,
yeah.
I'm a bit of a,
Mute.
well, I'm still consenting obviously. But like
Yeah.
I'm not, I just give myself the ick. But I should try and do the name.
I
thing.
guess I would like to experience it because I think, yeah, it's like a sense of ownership, kind of like that other DM that was like, fuck me like you own me. It's literally like, oh, if someone's saying my name, it's like, that's like you're talking to me. Like that's like I don't know.
Wait, me?
Me? You think I'm hot? Like what?
You feel good inside me? Pip? Me, Pip?
Seriously, I really don't think Pip is moanable, and I also don't think Philippa, the Govey name, is going to work either. Too many syllables.
No, I think it
Philippa.
I think it all works. I think it all works. People love hearing their name.
Pippi.
Pippi.
Nah, it's too cute. All right, let's get this voice memo from Hannah.
I tend to really freeze up and get quiet when I'm with people, especially if I super like them. And so it's so helpful if they just start narrating what's going on. It can be the most simple stuff, just saying exactly what's happening, and it can totally change the mood for me. Get me wet, make me trust them, get me focused in on the moment. And it's way better if that's happening than if it's just totally silent, especially if it's with somebody new that I'm still building trust with.
Okay, I'm obsessed with this. And I feel like when I mentioned before my new good experience of it, I was like, I felt like that person was narrating, and like it was like they were describing what was going on, and they were like, "I like you look so good when you're like da 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 da." Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well,
that's
like
a game
the
changer.
4 Gs that you came up with, the describe, I reckon, like we were saying, is like the gateway into doing this.
Yeah.
And this was something that we found on TikTok, right? Like there was a TikTok of someone that said, if you are really struggling with dirty talk, like the best way to get into it is to just be like narrating what's happening.
Yeah. So if you go on TikTok and look up talk her through it, or talk him through it, or talk them through it, that's where you'll find all these videos. They have all these really good like
examples,
little phrases. Exactly. And yeah, it's just a really sexy narrator moment, which is so hot. And thank God for book talk. Thank God for audio porn.
Can we talk about encouragement? Because that's a huge thing on TikTok. That's how we found that we had praise kinks.
Yes.
We did a whole episode on this maybe like a year or so ago.
Literally changed my life. I was just like, I have a praise kink.
But we found it on TikTok, and it's basically just like encouragement, like you're doing such a good job.
Yeah. I was
like,
going to say it's not just good girl. It's like, you know, yeah, you're doing amazing.
Like come for me.
Yeah, like you can do this. Like you look
this.
amazing. Like, you know, all that. Like it's really encouraging.
And that's, if you haven't explored that, highly recommend.
Prepare for your panties to drop. Your world is going to rock.
But like we were saying before, there is a bit of a one or the other, right? I mean, there's degradation, which is what you said was a turn off. But for some people, that's a huge turn on.
We actually had Freya send us a voice memo talking about degradation.
Yeah, I've had some experiences before that it's started out really fun, flirty and exciting with what we're going to do and the fun we're going to have. And then it kind of quickly turns into more of a sub-dom type roles, or that you're just getting a bit degraded, called like a bitch and a slut, which I really don't rate and wasn't really a big fan of.
This is where we kind of mentioned it before, but this is where communication obviously has to come in. Like, you shouldn't be calling anyone those things. 1, because they can be really triggering. 2, they're fucking rude. Like, unless you're having a conversation about the fact that someone's into that, which I totally get. It can be really hot. Someone could be really into that. But if you're just doing it without actually checking in and seeing if they want to be called those things, and like that's going to, like that stat said, 1 in 5 people, it's going to instantly turn the sex off. Like
100%. Yeah. So have that chat, like have those boundaries, like just talk about it.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot easier. Also, can we talk about like sort of the gendered aspect of dirty talk?
Well, we saw that in our DMs. Like a lot of people were saying that like guys aren't as vocal.
You're going to love this voice memo from Georgina.
I find it confusing that, in my experience at least, men specifically will be so communicative leading up to sex, telling you what positions they like, what their kinks are, or what they're going to do to you. But then during sex will hold back. Like, are you just talking a big talk? I like my partners to tell me in the moment if they're enjoying something or if it feels good. Just having that reassurance that it's a mutually beneficial experience. Also, why is it assumed that women will moan and or be loud? I want men to moan and be loud. Like, just get lost in the moment and let rip.
I love it. I think
Yes,
that
Georgina.
she like basically touches on the fact that like for a man to get lost in the moment, to moan and everything, going back to that sub-dom thing, it's like I think that there's this like gendered aspect where people find it submissive because you are like being maybe vulnerable and being like, you know, into it and like you're like, oh, groaning and everything and saying stuff. So I think maybe that's why guys are just like not comfortable doing that because they feel like it looks like weaker or something.
Yeah.
Do you reckon?
I would love if you
Like I want my,
comment below or DM us and let us know.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing, but it seems to be a bit gendered from our DMs and from what you've told us.
Yeah. And it's definitely like porn, I guess. It's like, yeah, the woman's always like making the most noise. But like, I just know like from our DMs, like so many people were like, I would love to hear my guy like lose his fucking mind and like say stuff, moan, everything.
Let's just say
grunt.
It is so hot. It is so hot when you can tell that someone's like really into it.
100%. And it goes both ways. Like we can't just have the
Yeah.
exactly.
So let's quickly, before we wrap up, throw around some words or things that you could start with. I don't know. Some people are a fan of babies.
Fuck, should I pull up some texts that I've sent recently, or what do you want me to say here?
Like some people are a fan of baby. Some people aren't.
Yes,
that's a check in. Daddy.
Yep. I actually had someone
we
check
haven't
in
even
with
spoken
me
about daddy.
I know, but quickly, I had someone check in and checked. They checked if I liked the word baby. They're like, "Does this give you the ick?" I know it sometimes does for other people.
And
I
you were
was
like, "I've got a fucking what?"
Absolutely fucking not. Say it again. So that was cute. And it wasn't weird that they checked in, by the way.
Oh, God,
it
no.
didn't even like interrupt the flow or anything. It was really good. So I really liked that. But yeah, daddy
can either be a huge ick for some people.
Mostly in our DMs, people like yuck.
Yeah.
And
So
men
check
as
in.
well. We actually had someone say that like they went fully soft when someone said daddy to them during sex.
Yeah. So check in with those words. I think you're pretty safe with the like, oh my God.
Yeah. Oh my God, fuck. That feels so good. I'm so wet. I'm so hard. I
do that again.
I'm obsessed with this. Like,
I'm
you're
loving-
amazing.
Yeah, this is great. I'm loving it.
The encouragement.
Yeah.
The 4 Ds.
That's a good place to start.
Yeah. Well, look, we'll put something up on socials if we're allowed. But otherwise, send this podcast and or vodcast, however you are viewing and watching and listening to us, to your partner, to someone that you're interested in. I don't know, get them worded up on how this isn't like, yeah, it doesn't have to be pornographic. It doesn't have to be confronting. It can be really fun, encouraging. And the science shows everyone's loving it. Everyone's having a great time.
If you do it well. If you do it well.
Tea.
So hopefully you got some tips from this app.
Mhm.
Like we've said throughout the episode, make sure you DM us on our Instagram at Triple Dare the Hookup.
Mhm.
Let us know if there's anything that you want us to cover, talk about, anything that we've missed, any feedback. But
Do the survey.
Yes, do the survey.
Link in the bio, link below this. Love you so much.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.